might have things that were you when you were a little bit of a different person. Does anybody remember when kitchen cabinets that had a whitewash on them with a little bit of a pink hue? Oh my goodness, everybody is shaking their head. A lot of you remember that? Did you have it? How long did you love it for? Would you do it now? What year is it from? 2000? Okay. I love that we're interactive already right from the beginning. Thank you. That's how this entire seminar should be. If you hear me say something and you know the answer, just yell it out. So, on the timeline of where we've been and where we're going, there have been some trends that if you were not a designer and you wanted to still weigh in on something intelligently, you could say, gee, I remember when those pink kitchen cabinets were in. I remember when red and gold was in. And most recently, you could remember when gray was in, right? Okay. So when you're talking about a timeline and how that affects you, you might love a particular color, but if you go into the stores and it's difficult to shop, then that's going to make it more difficult for you. So a lot of the things that I do is that I like to do homes as 80% timeless, 20% trendy, so that we're a little bit elevated, but when it comes time to switch things out as trends change, as you get bored with something, you're not having to redo your home all over again. Does that make sense? Okay, that makes sense. Oh, thank you. I love the applause. So, there's so much that goes into a well-done room. Of course, it's the affordability of it. Of course, it's how you love it. But the size and the scale of everything are very important. Can you imagine if these chandeliers, if the designer that's selected in here chose something that was much too small for the room? It wouldn't have the impact and the luxe feeling that it's giving you now. It's the same thing for a residence. Everything has to have its day in the sun, and everything has to fit well with what you love. So I have an idol that has been my idol for a very long time. You guys were all in agreement when we were talking about certain things. I hope we're going to be in agreement again. Who remembers Candace Olsen? Oh, big smiles. That's awesome. So Candace Olsen used to open her show, and she used to say, her tagline was, good design is knowing the rules and knowing when to break them. So that is something that is one of my mantras, one of my Marcyisms. I don't steal it from her. I give her credit all the time. But that's a wonderful way to do a home. Knowing the rules, knowing when you have to tweak them, when it applies to you, is really important. We're in the day and age of the internet, and a lot of people, just by nature, will go to the computer and ask their friends on Facebook, what is the white that you're using? What is the way that you're using green? I heard green is in. How are you going to use it in your house? Is that a safe way to do things? It's really not. So one of my Marcyisms is that no house was built without a foundation, and you go from the ground up. So as you're placing your furniture, you have to take a lot into consideration. You guys are in this awesome community, and before you know it, you're entertaining for 10. There's book club, there's pickleball stuff, boy, I don't have enough time in the day if I want to go through that list. But you have a lot of people over all the time, and when you go into a store and they do seating for 6, that could be enough for you and that could not be enough for you. But there are a lot of things in size and scale and proportion that you have to watch. And knowing how to do it is a little bit of an art, and I'm going to teach this to you in a couple of different ways, and then hopefully I get to speak to you about whatever challenges you're going through on your end. Does this look like a well-balanced room to you guys? Do you think that there are any challenges here? What do you guys think? Too heavy, too many chairs. So when the structure is done and the windows are where the windows are and the doors are where the doors are, there are often 3 different ways that really work. And in all of those 3 different ways that really work, the sizing is different. So when you have a very large open floor plan, there are many of you that do, especially in this community, you still have to watch to make sure that you're not making really tight spaces as you're going into your seating areas. It really shouldn't feel like Alice in Wonderland going down the rabbit hole, especially in a very large open floor plan. Is anyone struggling with that now, where you've tried to get enough seating and you've got a little bit too tight where you're scutching through a little bit? There's ways to fix that. So one of the things that I like to talk about is knowing the rules and knowing when to break them. So in this picture, there is a really great pro tip. The coffee table should be 2 inches lower than the seat height. Why is that? Okay, why 2 inches? Why not 3 inches? Why not 4 inches?
You can put your feet on it.
That's absolutely correct, Charlie. So the knowing the rules and knowing when to break them. There are 10-foot ceilings in these homes, and when you're putting something in that might have worked in a prior home, maybe you did not have a 10-foot ceiling in your prior home, but when you're doing pieces that are too small, you're going to see it, you're going to feel it, and you might love the piece, but maybe the piece can be used in a different way somewhere else, so we don't have to get rid of it. But it's not doing you any justice in a spot that it does not work. Does anyone have a piece in their home that they feel that they brought that they're not sure they should have? There's hands that are going up here. So I love reinventing a piece and using it in a different way, using it in a different room. I have a story that I've told in the past where I took a china cabinet that was a beloved family member's piece. We took the top off, we did a new stone top, and we created a brand new piece that really gave it new life. Those kind of things are amazing because the people that you're keeping it for are probably smiling at you saying, hey, that's so cool that you reinvented this. That settee used to be a blue plaid. The person evolved, and so did the settee. This dining set used to be mahogany. The person didn't want to get rid of it, and they wanted to reinvent it, so we had it refinished by a pro right here in Charlotte. Sometimes the piece has to be created. There is a wine fridge that's in here, and in some cases, when it comes to a dining room, just redoing the chairs makes a world of difference. Sometimes the changes are a little bit more profound. We can completely change the style from traditional to modern. Really cool, right? I just love watching your reactions. I see these little sidebar conversations and people smiling. I just want to say thank you in advance. Very cool. So if you're having the conversation with your family, sometimes people say, no, that's wood. I don't want to paint that. But isn't it better to paint it than to get rid of a really good quality piece? Oh, see, there go the heads bobbing again. It's all good. So just as the trends have changed, your personal style could have changed as well. Has it or has it not? Are you guys all the same as you were 20 years ago? No, I'm not either. Go figure. So a lot of times people will say new home, new house, new look, but they still want to keep some of their older pieces. So it comes to play when you are thinking about changing. There's so much media that's out there and you want to respond to it, but you might not know what it is. If someone said to you, transitional versus modern versus contemporary, Nancy Meyers aesthetic, boho chic, industrial, Japandi, French country, I didn't even have enough room to put all the different styles here. Does anybody know what the difference is between boho chic and Scandinavian? No. It's hard to explain, right? So if someone says to you, what is your style? You guys all got dressed. There you go. You guys all get dressed every day. You live in your homes that have pieces that you love. You can say, I like that, I don't like that. But how do you know if you're transitioning from some of your old pieces and some of your new pieces that it's not going to be hectic instead of eclectic? So this slide is again what I'm just talking about. This says you have kept some pieces and you have a shopping list. What's going to happen? It begins with a detailed list and an itemization of what are our sizes. We need to put some blinders on when we're shopping and make sure that this is in a very, very easy transition and that there are some things that are not going to work for you and others that do. So now more than ever with inflation and tariffs, I have ways to get around tariffs, believe it or not. But the way my business is structured is I am paid hourly and you get discounts on prices and it's not marked up. And that is working smarter, not harder. And that's another Marcyism. So where can I get you discounts? That's a pretty impressive list, and you guys can all read it on your own. But it's not an exclusive list. There are many more. So I will not tell you the client's name. They could or they could not be in this room. But this is one client's breakdown of what ended up happening. We did furniture, we did lighting, area rugs, we did supplemental artwork, and they ended up saving $6,806 in the end. They had pro help, they're very happy, and it's been my pleasure to facilitate all of this for them because I love hearing how happy they are. You go into the stores and you see everything in the showroom and you need to know that it's going to work for you and what style it is, what styles work together and what styles do not. I love telling people that the guest room has to be done in a very, very smart way. So how many people have a 6 or an 8 drawer dresser in their guest room? Hands are going up. You guys are so nice to your guests. Are they staying that long? That's so nice. That's really so nice. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. So we talked about for a split second that I don't like the situation with inflation and the tariffs. And I am very much about getting my clients a great deal. So who knows what the term dupe means?
Duplicate.
Duplicate, you got it. So it's a duplicate. So it's a copy. So this is not a Mercedes ornament in your living room. Not everything has to be the original. If we want to save money, let me show you how to do it as a dupe. A lot of times people say to me, I don't know at this stage of the game. I've made my selections at the design center. I've brought some of my pieces down. I have a shopping list for what are my new pieces. I don't know what the sequence of events would be. And you really need to know how all of this works so that you know that you're going to be working smarter, not harder. So we're going to decide on a color palette. We're going to have a discussion about your intended budget. And then we're going to discuss the scope of work to see if there's any construction involved. So how many people decided that they were going to choose upgrades from the builder for their lighting? Few people decided to do that. So doing lighting is a very, very easy thing to do. Would you have the electrician come in before the painter or after? Okay, so what we would do is we would sequence everything so that it's done in the right order so that we're not fixing things that have to be fixed after the fact. This property, you guys have 9 model homes that are all staged beautifully. Can you envision that really is your working home office? Would that work for you to have to keep it that neat? So staging and real life are 2 different things, and that's something to be cognizant of. How many people in here might say that they need visual aids to envision something? Would you like to have a mood board or something to really see what goes with what, to say, ooh, I like that versus that? Do mood boards help? Yes. They do. So this particular homeowner was a couple that were fighting, and they were really having a hard time with wanting blue, wanting neutrals, wanting to downplay how much rustic they had in their home. And seeing 3 different ways to do their home office was very helpful. So Candace Olson said, knowing the rules and knowing when to break them. Marcy Sacks says that there are certain rules that really should not be broken. And I have a thing about rugs. Rugs come in standard sizes. Sometimes the standard size rug does not work, and we have to do an area rug out of a broadloom cut down to exactly the right size. And the examples here of what to do and what not to do are really made to be respected. It's for anchoring your furniture correctly and making sure that it feels comforted for the room. I go so far as to call it my design ick. Does anyone have a design ick that might be their personal pet peeve? Oh, I lost all of you. No one's willing to say what their design ick is. So in the bedroom, what ends up happening is you want to make sure that when you're getting out of bed, you're putting your tootsies on a nice carpet. What would the difference be between that one? What does that one allow you to do? Does anybody know where I'm going with this?
Put your shoes on at the end of the bed.
Put your shoes on at the end of the bed, yeah? Do you have a bed bench at the end of your bed? Yes. Okay, so if there was a bed bench that was going to be intended, that is the right size. How many of you came down with some area rugs that you loved? People are shaking their head no, some people are shaking their head yes, okay. So when you have an area rug that has a border and a center medallion, when you're doing your furniture in your seating areas should be, the first 6 inches of your furniture should be on the rug. It isn't a magic flying carpet that, when is the next takeoff? We don't just center it in the middle of the room. It has to anchor on all of your furniture. And if you're going to use a rug that has a border, and it should get out of my way so you guys can see, I'm so sorry. If it has a border, you're putting your furniture on it to break the border, and then your coffee table goes on the medallion, and then all of the beauty of your rug is gone. So it's really better to do a rug that has an all-over print and use the